They touch me, it's consequences that come with that.
I call you next. Hey, Lee, they trying to steal our shit.
I feel like a lot of people took away the negative from that.
That people out here lying is trademark, and I own the trademarks, and it's public record.
Like, ain't nobody gotta lie about, bro.
Pull up with 20 niggas with ski masks.
Like, super hating. Like,
Ain't nobody trying to hear you, not no street nigga.
But she ain't never paid for not one of my
I'm not finna die for this shit.
I'm trying to get out.
They died the first thing they say is,
For this shit.
man, he had potential
I
to
ain't
grow
never
up.
touched none of y'all. I ain't never did. I don't owe y'all niggas shit. I don't owe y'all niggas shit.
She said, I killed a boy. I'm going to prison.
You can out-internet me, but you can't out-business me and out-grind me.
You could just introduce yourself properly, you know.
Okay, absolutely. I am Javante Patton. I am a singer, a songwriter, producer, actor, father, husband, and so many other things.
Yeah. How long have you been making music though? Because music is that's the forefront, right?
That's the forefront. That's how I feed my family. I've been making music professionally since 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, what? I just want to know how you got into it. You know, tell me how you go from not making music to start making music.
Absolutely. I'll give
Billboard
you.
artist.
I'll give you the short version. Short version was I started this community choir called DFY, and it came from me singing at all of these funerals over in North Minneapolis, like the whole hood being there, and there was just never any representation of not even so much just Christian young people, but positive young people. Right? Everything in the news was this person killed, this gang thing. So I started DFY to kind of go against the grain. This guy came from out of town. It's like, oh, your choir is so good, I'm going to pay for everything. Big cap. And he ended up not paying for it. I prayed to God if I should go forward with it, and I ended up going forward with it. And that was the professional start of me producing and writing full projects like I do now.
You said, what did you say?
DFY, Deliverance for Youth.
Okay. And
Yeah.
that
was a youth choir. So
and mainly for, you said,
it was for
funeral services?
Yep, it was. The first focus was like funeral services, and then just giving us something to do. Like Fridays we would rehearse, and we'd be over north rehearsing by the hospitality house. We used every place possible to rehearse because we didn't per se have a building to go into. So it was a vibe.
Yeah, I remember you though. A Hughes funeral.
Yes.
Hughes funeral.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
what was that? I think I remember people giving speeches, cussing speeches. You know?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
John Ray was one of them.
Yeah. So I mean, shoot, we could talk about that first. Like, you know, when you mourning, you know, in God's house, you know, is there a way you should mourn?
I think it's kind of like an unspoken rule. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, we're in somewhere sacred. Let's just watch our language. It's not to say if cursing is bad or if it's good or if it's right, if it's wrong. But the point of the matter is we're somewhere where this is more of a family audience and there's people of all ages, all backgrounds. So let's keep the language appropriate so that we're able to hear what you're trying to say even in grief. So I think it's just using your intelligence even in grief in a room like that. Now, when you get outside, when you're at the repast, you have a personal conversation, I don't think that should be police, but I do think when there's a kid that's 7 that their parents may not have exposed them to that kind of language, let's just watch it. That's all.
Yeah.
It's not a God or a devil thing. It's just more of a moral thing.
Yeah. So have you always been religious though?
You know what? Believe it or not, I have. I was born and raised in church, but my siblings, they wasn't their whole entire life. But by the time I was born, my mom was in church. I took a liking to church myself. No one ever forced me to do it. I never did anything to gain the stare up in anybody's church or anything like that. I just found my real love for God, and it just ended up coming out in some of my giftings and my talent. But no, I love God.
So that was your whole life though?
Whole life. I've always been in church. If anybody know me from the hood, in school, I love God. And loving God never made me elite or over anyone else. It was just who I was and what I was into, and I never switched up. So I think that's why a lot of people know like what I do is from an honest place than like this boy faking.
Did you always know you wanted to connect it to music?
You know what? No, I can't say yes to that. I can't say yes to that. Sometimes doing gospel music and worship and all that other stuff, I know like it chose me. I didn't choose it because I'm a huge fan of Usher, Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of mainstream things. I could sit and have an hour conversation about hip hop artists and Drake and stuff. So this is kind of me doing what God has called me to do and not so much always what I want to do.
Yeah. So you've started a congregation.
Yes, The Wave, pull up 145 on Sundays. It is an amazing space. Everybody from all backgrounds come. You can wear what you want to. Church is not that long, and I feel like at first I didn't really want to do it, but that's another thing that chose me. But when you're getting 300 to 400 people packed into a room, it's kind of like, what do you do with that? You know what I'm saying? So it's just a safe space for our generation to now, and it's for all generations, but primarily our generation to reach God in ways that we understand. I could say, you know, the devil was capping, and it makes sense. Not even just trying to be cool, but that's just how I talk.
Yeah. So you're saying your how it's brought to you?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and I can correlate it to stuff that we understand or that we're knowledgeable of, because sometimes people make Bible stuff just go over your head, and it's like, if the message makes me not understand it, you're doing a bad job teaching it.
You're not sending a message. You got to understand the message. You can't just say it's a message because you said it is. You got to make me feel the message.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you had a congregation in Atlanta though too, right?
So I did not. Everybody thinks so. So the church where they shoot Greenleaf, the big show Greenleaf, I was the worship leader over there, and that was an incredible journey. Atlanta is an incredible space. Every time I go there, it's nothing but love. It's a local space with a lot of national opportunities. So the church was so humongous. The church has so much history in the city that it just felt like that. But I never started anything there. But that is not something that maybe not be. It could be in the future of Javante.
Do you think like you, to be a good person, you got to go to church?
No, not at all, because I know a lot of good people that don't go to church, and I know a lot of bad people that go to church.
How do you think you should come to church? Because I know a lot of people, they don't come to church because they feel like they're not walking a straight line. Or
Absolutely.
Not, you know, can you talk a little bit about how somebody's mindset should be if they want to get into church?
Absolutely. Well, you don't go to the hospital unless you need care at the hospital. And a lot of times, the church, people make the church and hospital synonymous. So a lot of times, most people come to church to kind of get their life together. So if your life is not together, you meet the criteria, or you would be the first person that should run to church. When everything is perfect in your life, if you do go and find a church, you'll probably mess it up if everything's perfect in your life when you get there. So I think you should come in whatever state you're in. And church is not always just for the broken. Sometimes church is for the people that work at a Fortune 500 company, and their life is going absolutely incredible. They just want to find somewhere where they can praise God for all the blessings that He's given them. So it's just like you find your why and show up.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, go through it. You know, if you're going through it, come go through it.
Yep.
At the church.
Come together. Get a community that can go through it with you, and not you go through it by yourself. Because I think that's one of the hardest things. Like, people be just going through stuff by themselves and making long Facebook posts, and it's like, we're a community. We can like pray for you and support you in that, versus you just doing it by yourself.
And we should support you. Like that should you should be connected.
Absolutely. That's the whole point of church. I think people have created mega church and online church. And I believe like someone is not your pastor because you go to their church on Sundays. That's an entertainment venue. When you connect with them and they know where you are in life and they're able to actually help you, or you're able to help them. You know, it's not always, I don't always need to help someone. Sometimes your resources and what you do can help me. But when that community component starts, it becomes real pastoralship in church, and I think a lot of people just want a huge congregation, but actually just go home when they're done. I want to talk to the people. How are you? How's your mom? Did your grandma pass? Well, we want to make sure, when is the service? We want to just come sit in the back and make sure that you know that we're there. That community space versus that I'm a star and all of you sit and watch me.
Yeah. But I mean, do you see that a lot with, I guess, preachers, that they rather be the star?
Absolutely. I have sang at more churches than the law should allow. I've sang at big churches. I've sang at small churches. And some of the things that I see, and it's not all churches, but I have to be fair that some of the stuff I see is not a blueprint of who I want to be. Like, no, I want to say hi to the people. I don't want my wife, I don't know her. She don't talk to me. And, just weird, awkward stuff, getting into it. People, like, some of the stuff that I've seen in church, it's like, why as an adults you guys would even be talking about that? Like, why, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like the stuff I've seen, it's not, I can see why people don't want to come to church. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. So, like I said, I grew up in a religious family.
Okay.
So my dad was an imam, so basically the equivalent
of a pastor.
Pastor. How important is it for the community to contribute to the congregation, like financially, to keep it going?
It's very important, but it becomes important when the leader creates budgets that is beyond their means. So I think it's important because financial contributions is how any organization runs. It's not just the church, right? It's not just religious spaces. However, I've seen it become exhausting to the people when the vision is too expensive or the vision is not realistic financially, and then you got all these people giving to something that will never happen or that they'll never see happen, and it becomes a bit, I wouldn't say ignorant, but counterproductive to people. People like to see goals and then they like to see them be reached. Yeah. So I think it's important, but I think it can become exhausting when you create opportunities for your people that are just too just too much.
Is there a goal though that your contribution should be as a believer? Like,
how
often you should,
How often you should give? Well, the Bible says to be a cheerful giver. So the first thing, anytime I give, I should do it cheerfully. If I do it like, I don't want to give this, I always tell people keep it, because you already messed up whatever you're trying to get. You know what I'm saying? You already messed it up. So if you got to think about it twice, if you got to be like, I don't know if I should do this, just keep it. So I think the first thing is be a cheerful giver. I think the second thing is the Bible tells us in the New Testament is give what God has placed on your heart. So the amount, I really can't tell you. I don't tell people at the Wave what to give. The amount is up to you and God, and we'll create a budget that God has given us, and He will give us the provision through you or through some other option to make it up. But I don't tell people what to give, and I think as often as you give, just be a cheerful giver, and you create that in your budget. I'm not telling you how to spend your money.
but we need it.
We do need it. We do need it. It's a part of anything. The church is a community-based location. So it's not ran by a profitable business where, okay, well, I know you're going to give me this, and I know this company's going to give me that. It's all ran off of community dollars, and there's sometimes where pastors and leaders, they're giving more than the people are to keep that community pot growing to help, build something. But that's not all churches. I can only speak for the Wave.
Yeah. A lot of times I see people criticize pastors though that do have nice things. Like, what do you think about that? Like, how much can you be a pastor? Can you have a Benz? Can you have?
Yes, I have one, and guess how I got it? My money. I think sometimes people feel like people are getting rich off a church, and they don't really see there's more deficits in black churches than there are, positives when it comes to the finances. Like myself, I don't get paid for my church. Let's put that out there. The Wave is not institution or a nonprofit that I built to get paid from. I get paid from music. I get paid from singing. So there's Sundays I'm not at church because I have to go to work just like you got to go to work. And if there's more money out there for me to do that, I need to go because I have a wife, 3 kids, my own personal endeavors. But I can see how it can become cringe-worthy content when the pastor looks like they have everything and then the people that are coming never have anything. Yeah. That can definitely be now wait, how you got all this? And then when the pastor talks about money all the time to the point where it's like, give me your money, and then when someone in the congregation needs money, you make them feel bad. And it's like, I paid your light bill, why can't you help pay mine? Yeah. So I think it's a double standard that happens sometimes, but speaking for myself, I bought my house off of what I do for work. I bought my car, my kids' schooling, all of those things. The outfit I got on right now, I bought that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not using a church card running it up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but what was I gonna say? Do you think, like for your kids though, being a pastor, being so involved, what kind of pressure do you think your kids will have? Like, cause I know me growing up under an imam, I felt like I had to walk a straight line, everything. I'm being judged every second of the second,
Absolutely. I have this policy at home. I let my kids be who they are. Who I am is not who you are. Mm-hmm. I have 3 daughters. If you want to listen to Lil Uzi and do the dance, I'm not standing in the way of that. I think how I live my life when I'm not at church is what's going to be the most convincing thing of them loving God, loving Jesus, and wanting to do church. But who mommy and daddy is may not be who you are. And I think I've seen so many of my friends get forced to be their parent or have a relationship with God in the way that their parent does, and it ruins the father and the son or the father and the daughter relationship. So we don't do that in our house. If you want to wear a belly shirt in the summertime, be who you are, because some stuff is moral stuff, but then some stuff is my preference, and my preference should not get in the way of your personality. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you don't brush your teeth, let me tell you, get up and brush your teeth. Comb your hair, make sure you get in the shower. That's my place as a parent. But when I get to making you become what I'm into, I think that's borderline. It can sometimes be borderline abuse. I know that can be like very far out to say, but I've just seen it go the opposite way in the black house so much. With a lot of my friends whose parents were like pastors and ministers and singers, them kids. Well, they're adults now, but they hate church. Yeah. They don't want to go. And it's like, my mom never made me do church. She never made me sing in the choir. She never made me do nothing in church. Everything is what I wanted to do, and she supported it thereof. My mom lives a life that makes me want to know the God that she's interested in.
Yeah, a lot of preachers' kids get in trouble too.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, or they get in trouble with the law or however,
Mm-hmm. Big time. And I think people don't give them the space to be human. They act like because their father or their parents are this or that they don't get an opportunity to be human. And just like I got to pray your kid out of jail, the pastor has to do that same thing sometimes, not all the time. Some pastor kids are A1, and then some pastor kids are all over the place, but I don't think it's always a reflection of their parent. I just think that's who that person was.
Yeah. Who's some people that you looked up to though? Like I guess pastors maybe or something. Like who was you looking up to? How did you become a pastor?
You know what? I think becoming a pastor, to answer that question, this is a part of my life cards. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't trying to go to school. I wasn't sitting at home like, yeah, the Birdman hands, like, I can't wait to pastor. It's just kind of like, it has just happened, right? Some people that I've looked up to, I love Pastor McAfee at New Salem. He's always been real, whether you like him or not, whether he's your forte or not. what you see is what you get, and you don't have to guess. My bigger issue now that I'm older and I'm a man and got a family, I can't stand a pastor that fakes like they're this person and then they're totally opposite, or they're doing everything to sabotage you or to micromanage you. I'd rather you be a pastor and curse me out and know how you feel about me than to be a pastor say, oh, God bless you, and then as soon as you get in your car, he ain't doing nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Pulling the plug on every resource that you could avail to me. So Pastor McAfee would be one. If we would go a little outside of the Twin Cities, well, my pastor, Pastor Charles Ford, Berean, 30th and Lindale, grew up there. Great pastor. Incredible. God rest his soul. I would say I love T.D. Jakes. That's the homie. I love Pastor Mike Todd. I love Apostle Jennings. I love Dr. Matthew Stevenson. Just real cool people. Like, I'm with it.
Yeah. Just a little off topic. If you like a little debate.
Okay.
Question. You cook dinner.
Okay.
Who gets the first plate? Your daughter, your mom, or your wife?
Ooh. If I cook dinner, so clarity, I'm not cooking dinner, but my wife.
Your wife?
My wife.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife is doing everything else to me, so I need to give her a plate first. You know what I'm saying? My mom got a husband.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My kids got a mom.
Right.
So,
what's the order, though?
Wife, mom, kids.
Wife, mom, kids.
Yeah, kids can wait. They're not that hungry. They're not starving. But I mean, if that order would be rearranged if we had an understanding and it was like, my mom was like 90 years old, like let's feed mom first. But my mom is 60 and just fine. You can wait.
Yeah. So I mean, growing up, where you from?
I'm from Northside, Minneapolis, born and raised.
Okay. So I think growing up in the community and the type of environments we grow up in, how do you balance being the pastor, being, and being involved, just being in this environment,
I just think just be yourself. If you try to become something you're not to win a group of people, then you're not going to keep that group of people when you're not that person later on. So I'm going to Gold Room and I'm going to church, and I want you to take a picture of me at both places.
Okay. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, you just because if you become a fraud, then you're going to attract fraudulent people. And you can't say, oh, I only deal with the real, but you're being fake to get the attention of certain people. I'm not interested in that. So I'm born and raised in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, going to Karma, Aqua, Cream. You know what I'm saying? Like all of those spots, I'm not going to now get to church and then act like I was going to church then. You know what I'm saying? Like I never have not went to church. So going to all of those spots are just being who I am. And my wife, we're going to turn up. We're going to have a good time. We're young. We're 30. I'm 32. By the time this air, I could be 33 in a week. But we're going to turn up. We're going to have a good time. Why would I not have a good time? And my turn up may not be your turn up, but my turn up is not going to be this fake. If my song come on, we about to dance.
Yeah. So, what's the environment at the Wave? Like, because I know you talk about generations, you're talking about how to send a message.
Yeah.
What's kind of the environment there?
It's all ages, actually. Most people are shocked when they come because you would think like, oh, it's a young thing. I've been in church my whole life. So when people say, oh, y'all don't sing songs like that, I grew up hearing the same songs you grew up hearing. I know them. I sing, so I know them just as well as you do. So you're going to get old songs, new songs. You're going to get people in their 70s. You're going to get kids that are newborn. It's a normal church. You know what I'm saying? It's not like when you come in, everybody is 17 and they all sitting in one section and then everybody that is 80 is sitting in another section. You're going to get people from all classes and walks of life, and I love that for us because it causes us not to curate a message that makes one community of people clap, but it makes us bring the kingdom of heaven together on earth.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes a good messenger, though.
Amen.
Able to reach the people.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Try.
But what I guess I seen something on the internet like they say it's being too much hip hop and stuff integrated in the church, like too much like music and stuff like that. How do you feel about that?
I would say, now this can become a bit extra, but I would say that somebody who always makes everything black be demonic. The beat of the drum, whether it is recorded in someone's studio or whether it is played on an instrument or whether it's in Africa in the 1800s being beat on something that they made, we like a beat. Let's just start there. If you are African American, you like drums, you like a beat. So it's not integrating anything that has not been in the church. It's just that now you like to separate it because it's not your particular preference. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Personally, I don't need all that every Sunday, but I'm not against it when it comes to be a part of the experience some Sundays, because church is not just for me only. It's for the person in the back. It's for the person on the side. And if they like that, then I need to open myself up to hearing what they like, because Amazing Grace is not the only song in the church hymnal.
Yeah. So you still do music full time though, right?
I still do music full time, 100%, 120% of the time, yes.
And you got, can you just name some of your accomplishments? I don't want to sell you short.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. I have 5 number ones on Billboard. We have reached, I think, a little bit over 10 million streams on all platforms combined. I've sang for a lot of great people like Stevie Wonder. Pastor McAfee actually got me there. See, that's why I like him. He thought of me. Beyonce. I'm doing radio right now, so my song is on radio. You probably hear it on Kurt Franklin's Sirius XM or on your local radio station if you're watching it nationally. So those are just some of the accomplishments musically that my company and I have.
That's all gospel? Music?
All gospel, yep, all gospel, from 2016 into the present.
So have you ever put anything else out? My bad. Have you ever put anything else out?
I have sang on some hooks. You know what I'm saying? I've done a couple things. From a business standpoint, not really, because I do music business, not just karaoke singing. Mm-hmm. So if I'm making the bands doing, gospel and Christian music, then if it's not broke, why try to fix it? But I'm not biased to the right opportunity that has the right business with it. I'll sing a little R&B, you know what I'm saying? Stop playing with me.
It don't matter. I mean, the content of the other artists?
That had nothing to do with me. I can't control, micromanaging people's lifestyle and who they are. If they're doing something that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I know you did something that is just like a trigger to like the rest of the world, or then that's a no. But like, your life is your life, my life is my life. And if we're coming together for a creative cause, let's do that. And then we're good.
Yeah. Have you got any interesting features though like that? Like somebody we wouldn't expect or something?
I have not done it yet, but me and John Ray, we've been talking. So we'll see what that. I think he's very talented. I like his flow. So we'll see what we can come up with if it ever happens. You know what I'm saying? But I've worked with
Who's holding that up?
Huh?
Who's holding that up?
You already know it's John. And it's not John the Baptist, it's John the Ray. He's holding that up. He playing all day. Yeah. But I mean, we'll get to it. I got an album out now, so I need to be promoting that. So we'll get to it. But I do want to, after this record, I do want to see what else I can get into. Some children's stuff. My kids love hip hop. Yeah. So see how we can collide the two.
How do you handle your business? Do you got a manager?
That is such a good question. I have administration help out with things, and I do work for hire, and I do project-based hiring, where I only need you for these 3 months. I don't need you indefinite to be on payroll for my company. Here's what we can do for you. Here's what we need you to do. Does this work for you? Clear yes or no. If it doesn't, we'll find somebody else. But most of the time, it's DIY, do it yourself. I think a lot of artists don't understand that the business has shifted to do it yourself, and a lot of people are waiting on teams and all of these like fake experts who's their cousins or someone who did music 20 years ago, and the whole entire business has changed, and then it makes the artist's ego feel good because they're like, oh yeah, I got a manager, and you say, oh, you list all of these things that these people are, but you're not getting the results of a manager, you're not getting the results of a producer, you're not getting the results of a label. So all of these people are aspiring just like you. So I do a lot of things myself if it's really not a person who's an expert or someone who lets me know in the beginning, hey, I want to become this, and I think this would be some good intern work for me to do. So a lot of it is Javante and my wife making a couple calls.
So I mean, like, if I want to feature with you, you know, how do I reach out?
You can email us at watchthepatents, plural with an S, at gmail.com, and whoever's working the email that day, whether it be me, my wife, or one of our assistants, you can get it that way, or you can hit me up on social media. Social media is a website. I do have a website, javante.com, but you can hit me up on Instagram, DM me, and if it works for me, you know what I'm saying, schedule-wise and what the overall goal of it is wise, I'll write back. I'm not the person that acts like, oh, I don't run my social media, somebody else is doing it. No, it's me. So if I send your message and then write back, I forgot or I didn't want to write back.
But I mean, so do you charge for features?
I do. I understand my value in the algorithm. I understand the audience that I bring, and if it's not meeting you in the middle, then it's a no. Now, the only way I won't charge for something is if it's an up and coming artist that's just like working their face off, I would rather be a gift and be honored to be like, I would love to have a part of your story. You know what I'm saying? Because there's people that have gifted me features that should have charged me thousands of dollars. So it is a gift, but if you're just somebody that, you know what I'm saying, is trying to figure it out, pay up. But if you're somebody that I see, you know what I'm saying, like really on it, like, you know, like a John Ray, there's no money involved because he's doing it himself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I can bring any kind of audience, any kind of artistic expression to make what you have already greater than what it already is, it's a gift.
Yeah. And that's just so different. I think that'll be fire, by the way. But
thank you. Yeah, he just can't talk about certain things. But yes, I think it would be incredible. He's very talented, and a lot of times people are popular but not talented, and I see talent.
So that's why you say some things you can't talk about. That's why I want to say, like, where's the line drawn in music, like for what you speaking on, and you know.
So it's so hard because I'm a huge fan of Drake and 21, like the album. What's the new album called? Drake and 21. Her Loss.
Yeah.
Incredible album. That, like, I listen to it probably too much, but I'm listening to it because the production is great. When you go from song to song, it's just transitioning great. But there are some things that I possibly just wouldn't look good for my overall longevity as a brand, but I also have learned that I am an artist and I'm sensitive about my praise. So it would just have to be like at the moment and I'll say, no, I can't do that. But I don't know, like I think rape, that's a no. I think doing drugs.
Yeah, rape is a no.
Yeah, rape is a no in a song. Doing drugs until you pass out or die. I don't think I want to be a voice for that. I think having a good time at a party is one thing, but I think when you're telling someone to, you know what I'm saying, get high to the sky where you can't come back down, I don't really want to be a part of that mission. Yeah. But having a good time with a lady and having to go into a good party. Me and Maya Marshall, we did a song called Drugs in the Club, and it was fun. I got a chance to rap. I got a chance to shoot music videos. And
you want to go?
Yep. Yeah. So I have a big hip hop side to me. I like rapping. I feel like I was a rapper somewhere in life. So yeah, but I think my drum boys like rape, drug use that causes people to die or be harmed, and we ain't gonna ever talk about kids. I think those are the three things. Everything else, I'm pretty much open to.
Yeah. So I mean, lately, you know, you got a lot of rappers that's street rappers that's been, I guess, telling or accused of being telling and stuff like that.
Rats.
Yeah. Do you think that like music artists, are they just telling a story? Do it need to be real? Or like, are they just like? Is it fake? Is what I should say. Should people not expect so much from these artists? Because people be upset with these artists. Like they be, man, y'all told, y'all did this, that. Then there's one side that be like, what y'all expect? These entertainers.
Well, the word itself says songwriter. That means you have written this. That doesn't mean when you see a screenwriter for a movie, it doesn't have to be based on a true story. Like certain movies, at the end of it, it'll say, based on a true story in the beginning or in the end. And then some movies, you never see that. You know what I'm saying? Like Wakanda, it's not really based on a true story. Just a writer. So I think sometimes in hip-hop, and especially the black community, our poets, our clean imagination gets ripped from us because society and your cousin in the hood telling you, you know, it needs to be real. I don't think it has to be real. I don't think half of the stuff that Drake talks about is real per se. I think it's great experiences that I seen my homie go through, that I saw on social media.
Relatable.
It's relatable content so that when I go out to the show that I don't have to always use my life as the only thing that causes an audience to congregate together. So I think it doesn't have to be real. I think it should just be you using your imagination and having fun with it. I do think we should watch what we speak. Now that's my church side coming out of me. I do think we should watch what we speak and what we pronounce over ourselves. I remember watching Snoop, I think he was on the Breakfast Club, and he said that he didn't have a murder case when he wrote murder was the case that they gave him. And he said he ended up getting that murder case. He said that's when he changed what he was writing about. So I think there is savvy ways that you can go around and like, me and my guys, you know what I'm saying? You can rap about a story about one of your guys doing something, or you can rap about yourself in second or third person versus it being, I took the op, like, boy, stop saying that before you go to jail.
For sure. So now that you got your own congregation though, and how much do y'all work together?
As in like planning and all of that?
I mean, just you, other churches, other faith leaders?
You know what? That is a really good question. That's a really, not much. And that's not much. I'll hear people say, we're better together. What does that mean? I've come to your church. I've sang at your church. I've showed up to events that you didn't invite me to, but because I seen it and I didn't act like I didn't see it, or because I didn't get a seat or you didn't tell me, I still showed up as a supporter, right? And I've had my church for a while, and some of them have never shown up. Some of them never checked on me and said, how are things going? You know what I'm saying? You good? Do you need anything? Is there anything I can do for you? So working with other churches has not so far been all of that. Some of them are good. I love Fellowship. I love New Salem. They've come over. You know what I'm saying? Living Word. They've come over. You know, they've made that extra mile, right? But some churches, they don't say anything, and they act like when I come in the room like I'm the little homie in a bad way, and it's like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, got it. So we don't work together as much.
Ego or what? Just
I think some of it could be ego. I don't want to speak for them what it is, so maybe they see this, and if they feel like it's them, then they'll let me know what it is. But it also could be misunderstanding. I think people think to become a pastor and do a church, you got to go through all of these different things, and so they create all of these, you didn't do it the way that I had to do it or the way it should be done in my particular denominational book, so I can't really celebrate what you have going on. Even though God's hand is on it, even though it's going better than what I have going on, I still have to just watch what I do because you didn't do it the right way. So that would be my first thought with some of those people, but I also can't go to bed thinking about what they think because what's going on over here is successful. And I think Matthew Stevenson said something. He said, I have no enemies that are more successful than me.
I want to talk about like funerals though, the cost of funerals.
Oh God.
And how, I mean, some people say they're too expensive. Some people, what's the process in your religion? Funeral costs, how they're.
So I think funeral costs becomes expensive, and I've been doing this a long time. So what I'm getting ready to say is not me just talking out the side of my neck. It's from me being behind the scenes. I think funeral costs has become more expensive because of people's preferences. No, Lil Moo Moo gotta have, you know what I'm saying, Gucci da-da-da-da. He gotta have a casket that look like this. And I understand that it's your family member and you want them to go out in a way that you feel like represents them and that's high end. So I can't ever take that away from people. But I feel like the cost of services have went up because people preferences are expensive, not so much the funeral being expensive. You know what I'm saying? Like when people get killed in the city of Minneapolis, they get a certain amount of money from the city. They just got to apply for it, and they get a certain amount of money that most funeral homes, they will take what they already know the city is going to allot them and cover the actual service. It's when we get to adding the horses and the carriage and, you know what I'm saying? I mean, those small details, which who am I or anyone else to tell you, no, that is not how you should celebrate your loved one. I just think that we have to understand where the cost is going up in the preference and not just the actual funeral cost, because you could just go bury your loved one really cheap, have a small, nice service, but who wants to do that? You know what I'm saying? You want to go out in a big way, so that's where the finances comes in at when the details are now people's preferences.
Does the pastor charge for that though?
Traditionally, when people say they're a member of a church, right, and say, Javante is my pastor, if you're a member of that church, when you pass away, it's engulfed in your membership. You've given tithes, you've given offering. So that is the way that we now reciprocate. So all of the deacons, the deaconess, the hospitality ministry, we're ready. Like, come on, that's our sister. We're going to celebrate them. So the pastor that preaches your service knows you. So they eulogize you. Oh, Mother Brown, she was an amazing cook, and I couldn't wait when her and her family came in. And then when you're a great member at a church, when like a family member of yours passes away, it's kind of like you're kind of grandfathered in. Oh, my son passed. So the pastor's like, oh, we got you. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it's technically, traditionally going by church, there isn't a cost, right? But where the cost now, where you see pastors charging, is because they're burying a lot of people that they do not know. They're utilizing their church. Everybody in their church now has to stop their weekly stuff because a lot of churches don't have people on staff that's just getting paid to sit around and wait for you and your family to come because somebody in your family died. So it curates all of this cost, all of these volunteers, and that's where the pastors are charging from, which I think if you're going to pay everybody else, you should pay them. I've done multiple funerals that had no money involved, whether I said I didn't want any money or whether they started off the conversation leading with we didn't have any money. So that gets tricky, but I understand why pastors charge nowadays because it's a lot on them to Tuesday just change their whole entire day to preach someone's funeral that they don't know. That's a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, you would say like they have the right to turn it down?
They have the right to turn it down, and I know that's ouch because you're in the worst moment of your life and the person that you love the most is gone. However, the ouch thing is life still continues even though that person is gone from you, and it takes a lot of living people's time away from them and their families to now cater to you. That's why it is good to get into a church because it causes community and resources to say, okay, if something happens, I can depend on. That's why you need a pastor and a church for these moments so that when stuff happens, I don't even understand sometimes why people just don't use the funeral home. It's a funeral chapel for a reason. If that person didn't go to church and that church wasn't what y'all did, don't force yourself to make them be something that they're not because they died. Now I get some people do it for space purposes. It's larger, but that's my thoughts.
Yeah. So I mean, okay, you talked about it a little bit, but just a little bit more. What should you be able to expect as a member of a congregation? You know, 'cause I know some people expect too much.
Absolutely.
Personal experiences. You know, people come in last minute, they emergencies, and, you know, and then they really upset when you can't help them. Let's talk about that a little bit.
This is good. So make sure you give me this clip so I can put it on the wave page, so our policy page. Being a part of a church, ironically, people will say the church don't do this, the church don't do that, but they'll ask the church to become a bank, a hospital, child protection services, a counselor, all of these things that are necessarily not the profession of the church, people look for the church to be. hey, I'm going through it with my husband. Can we come talk to you? Who said I was a counselor? You know what I'm saying? Hey, I don't have money to pay my rent. Who said that we were emergency assistance financially? All of these things that the church becomes to people because that's what they think the church can be. And I have this policy where I tell people, if I have a conversation with you about something 2 to 3 times and it's above my education, my pay grade, my wisdom, I now have to suggest other resources to help you out in this, because I'm not the pastor or I'm not even a friend like this. I don't know who to call because your car broke down, sis. I don't know who to call. I'm sorry. I'm not a mechanic. Maybe my cousin. You know what I'm saying? I give resources also. I think churches have to nowadays make it very clear what they offer and what they don't offer, and make that be plastered across the wall so that people won't get frustrated thinking that whatever I need the church to be, it's going to be that, and if it's not, I have to now have an ought against the church. Jesus can be whatever you need him to be, but the church can't always do that. So I think people should expect community, and by community, for me, I would say if something is going on in your life, call us. Please let me know. I don't care if you see me on an interview. I don't care if you see me sitting up with Oprah. Make sure I know what's going on. So when I'm done with that interview, I look at my phone and say, oh my God, are you okay? What can we do? And if there's nothing we can do, just you hear my voice. Hopefully that helps. If not, I'm going to pray for you and move on. I think the other thing is, if you do get in the financial issue, I do think it is the church's option to say, hey, we can help you with that. But I don't think it's the church's option to help you 100%, because if we help you 100% and not the other person, it doesn't become fair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So those kind of things, helping families through school and making sure, like, you know, hey, what school do your kids go to? Do we need to step in on a behavior issue? Those kind of things I think are just more so community things, but I think membership offers what's going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. Have you ever had any hate from, I guess, anybody that came into your congregation, or like when I say hate, like sometimes it's like radicals that come through and they're disruptive, or you know what, like that?
That's a good question. I can actually say, and if I got it wrong, somebody put in the comments that I did. I don't, but no. I think I get along with people in school, in life. I've never been the person that's into it with people. If someone thinks they're into it with me, they're being very delusional. Yeah. Sweets, that's you. That's not me. I don't have anything against you, bro. But no, thanks be unto God. No, I say what's up to everybody. I speak to everybody. And if there's a misunderstanding, I will quickly get in front of it and say, hey, you know what I'm saying, that's not that. But if I see the person is just unreasonable, then I just be like, okay, just say whatever you want to, because I can't control it.
But I mean, even like not personal like with you, but just like sometimes people come in and they're passionate about the belief, or so they may question how your teachings or anything like that.
Got it.
Have you ever dealt with anything like that?
Not yet, but I also tell people, it's like when you go to Red Lobster, primarily you're going to get seafood. Don't come here thinking that it's Manny's, or don't come here thinking that it is Popeyes. So if I do get that, I just let people know like where I stand and what they would get more than what they won't get. And if they're looking for this to be something that we're not, then I just say, hey, well, maybe I can suggest another congregation that can give you what you need. But I'm not an expert at that particular space that you're in. Yeah. But no, not really. But I guess I would say that's how I would handle it.
I've just seen it happen, where pastors, they do have those issues where people challenge their teachings, they come in and, sometimes, pastors need a gun sometimes,
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes they need, matter of fact, what's your take on security in churches and stuff like that?
I think it's very important. I think we've seen in the world, in America, the high risk of not having security. I think there's a way to go about it that doesn't scare the people that you're trying to secure. But I do think it's very important. People are I wouldn't say people are crazy. I would just say people love to embrace misunderstanding. So once someone misunderstands how you feel or what your projection is or perspective, I would say, is on something, then it just takes them sometimes to a place of rage. So I think it is very important for security in the house of God, in your personal home, in your workspace, wherever you go. But it's important. Don't be just having church and there's nobody that's like looking around. The Bible says, watch, fight, and pray.
Sure. So, you just had a new album come out.
Yes, it came out March 10th. Yes.
Established?
Established. It is out everywhere.
What Established? Why that title?
So the pandemic, the last 2 years. So we recorded it live in 2022, in March 2022. So going back to that time, we're still fresh in and off of the pandemic, right? COVID isn't what it was, but COVID is still COVIDing. So I didn't want to make an album that kept us stuck at COVID. The point of the record was to move us into the future and know that whatever damages happen to you, whatever you encounter during that time, that it was for your good, and that God, and even if you don't feel like it was good to you, God was going to work it for your good. So there is a scripture in 1 Peter that says, after you have suffered, after you've gone through, God will strengthen you, He will settle you, and He will establish you. So this is the record that lets people know we're getting back on our feet. You know what I'm saying? We're getting into the groove of life again. We're not walking around with masks on. We're not walking around feeling like I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. This is the time where God is going to bring back all of the resources, and we're going to be able to enjoy them just like this never happened.
So who are these people? These features?
Yeah, these are all features. So let me get my my thing. So we got Kiera Kelly. She is the legacy of the infamous Clark sisters. She was the star of the most watched movie on Lifetime in 2020. She just won a Grammy. We got Bishop Hezekiah Walker. He is the epitome of gospel music. I Need You to Survive. If you remember making the band, they went to his church. P. Diddy and Biggie and Faith Evans, all of them. They were all the hip hop people in New York, Brooklyn. That's their pastor. We have another guy by the name of Bishop S.Y. Younger. He is a social media pastor and an in-person pastor that is viral for his music, for shout tracks, and just really good word knowledge. And he's international. He has a church in Brazil as well. And so all great features, a part of the record, big heavy hitters, and names that go beyond the local wind to help bring attention on the national level to the project.
How many songs you put on there?
iTunes has a bonus video version, so it's 21. We have a great partnership with Apple Music. Shout out to Apple Music and all the people there. But the record has 10 songs on it, maybe 10 or 9 songs, and a couple interludes. I talk about my cousin that was killed and my aunt that passed away and some reprises. So it's a solid record.
Your cousin?
Yes.
Who's your cousin?
His name is, I'd rather not say it. You get the album, you can read his name. But yes, he was killed and all of that. So I doing so many funerals, and it was different. It's different when you're encouraging people, and I talk about this on the record, and then when you're on the front row because of somebody that's connected to you, it's different. So like when you hear how I feel about preferences and funerals, it comes from a personal place and a professional place. And so I didn't grieve on Facebook or get a chance to grieve like everyone else did, because literally we did my cousin's funeral at a particular location, and 2 weeks later I had to sing their same place for a friend that got killed. So it just becomes, a touchy subject, so I put it in the music.
Yeah. So you're 100% independent on the music side?
I'm 100% independent. Drake said major distribution. I have a great partner with Monarch Nashville that they distribute me, but prior to this record, everything was on my own. But even with Monarch distributing what I have going on, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, I'm working on my own relationships that I formed before I got that. So 100% independent, taking all the pie when it comes to the business of it.
Yeah. And I see you heavy on social media though. You the videos. I like your videos too. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Okay, got it. Yeah, so I have my social media. I had 10,000 followers in February last year. I'm at 80,000 now on Facebook. I had like 23, 24 last year on Instagram. Now I'm at 41, going on 42,000. I like to grow everything organic. I've never bought a view. I've never bought a follower. And I like to grow things organically, but I tapped into social media at a different algorithm. And what I mean by that is I do videos that's not in the normal algorithm. So I got videos that are like 22 million, 26 million views, and you may never see it on your page. I can be like, yeah, I'm blowing up, and you be like, I ain't seeing it in my timeline, but it's in a whole other timeline. And so to answer people's question, like where some of my money comes from outside of music, Facebook, I made $27,000 in 1 month off of some videos on Facebook. No cap. You know what I'm saying? So like I've tapped into
that was recently too?
I've tapped into other career fields. That's why this album is so good that you should go and get, because we had some money behind it. The company has some money, and everything that I do is under my production company, Newton Street. So I don't want to get paid personally. Like, this goes to pay other people to put the money back into business. But Facebook is very lucrative, and you have to learn how to tap into it from an angle that doesn't always make you popular with our people. If Moo never see it, I still got paid. You know what I'm saying? Moo never share it, I'm Gucci, because it has 57,000 shares to a whole bunch of people that may never see it. And I hear a lot of artists saying, oh, I don't do Facebook. TikTok is where it is, and Instagram. And you are right. I don't. Two ideas can coexist, but I think sometimes people don't know the business of social media. And wherever you are, Facebook can be the place. Like Country Wayne. Country Wayne really blew up on Facebook.
Yeah.
And now everything has spilled over to every other social media outlet. So it's God has been faithful. So hopefully I make that again. So let me make this clear. I made $27,000 and I spent $27,000. So don't come thinking that. Put that in there.
Leave it alone.
Okay.
No, but I appreciate you doing an amazing thing. Big fan of your work. I love people that build from the ground up, that's in their own lane, you know, especially from where we from.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. And thank you to Trap Right. A lot of artists think that our local publication is like small, but you guys are huge, and there's somebody that follows you that have never heard of me, and I have to always take every opportunity to feel like I'm either being introduced again or I'm bringing clarity to who I am again to someone else that already supports me. So you're very professional. I love what you do, and I just speak nothing but blessings and favor over every interview, and that God will open up partnerships and even bigger stars that will come from here and that don't live here will say, when I go to Minnesota, I want to stop here. So thank you for this opportunity.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
You heard it here first on Address It.
Touch me, it's consequences that come with that.
I call you next. Hey, Leak, they trying to steal our
I
shit.
feel like a lot of people took away the negative from that.
That people out here lying is trademark, and I own the trademarks, and it's public record.
Like, ain't nobody got to lie about.
Bro, pull up with 20 niggas with ski masks.
Like super hating, like
Ain't nobody trying to hear you, not no street nigga.
But
she ain't never paid for not one of my
I'm not finna die for this shit.
trying to get out.
They died the first thing they say
For this shit.
man, he had potential
I
to
ain't never
blow up.
touched none of y'all. I ain't never did. I don't owe y'all niggas shit. I don't owe y'all niggas shit.
She said, I killed a boy, I'm going to prison.
You can out-internet me, but you can't out-business me and out-grind me.